Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be a 50-point game of my Epic Magnus up against Kreoss, and it's also going to be the final game of my epic tale of Epic Magnus. So for this big game here, I got my small minimum-sized Idrians on the far left, then larger-sized, max-sized Idrians with UA up there in the center. I have my lung gunners. Two manglers. The one that's painted is going to be the bonded one that can get an extra, focus and all that. Of course, I have Epic Magnus, I have a mangler, and I have my cutthroats. And I'm really happy to see that my stuff is so painted now. It really has been bugging me to be playing with an unpainted army for so long, and I've been enjoying it so much. They really deserve to be painted. Up on the other side, I'm up against Menoth and Kreoss, and what he has from left to right is he has some Incinerators, he has his big unit of Exemplar Knights with UA, he has the Racks out there, a Paladin, then in the back he has a Vanquisher, he has Kreoss, a Hierophant, he has the Choir, there's also a Castigator that you can't see right now, and on the far right he has another Castigator and another Paladin. One of those could probably be the special solo one, I'm not sure. Either way, the way that this mission works is that there's the two flags there in the middle of the board. Now, if you dominate your close one, then you get 1 point. If you control your enemy's side one, you get 2 points, and if you dominate it, you get 3. So, you can sit back and you can win just by sitting on your own, but it's going to take a very long time. You pretty much really have to push for the other side. One of the things I was really happy with is that when I saw how he deployed, he was very heavily on the right side, so his flag is actually fairly vulnerable, so I think I can actually go after it. I've made the prey of his exemplars there, and I really feel that if I can just slow him down between my jacks and my cutthroats on the right, I can get to his flag, I can dominate, things will be great. Of course, one of the things that's going to be difficult for me is the whole thing where his choir can make it so I can't shoot his jacks, so all my shooting is kind of useless, and then he can pop his feet that would really render my Idrians useless, because I could go up, become defense 19, and then he'll pop his feet and I'm just being hit automatically. So something to be careful of, but have to really just see how it pans out. So I had first turn and I really try and push it, so I have my main Idrians move up. They're popping their feet already because I feel Kreoss is too far away to really do anything effective, so they're right there. Of course I had mobility cast and I charged across the Incinerators just to get some extra distance. Then my jacks all ran up, my long gunners running up. I have my Idrians kind of like the min-sized unit being ready for some charges to help against the Incinerators, and then the cutthroats just up there to try and be annoying. So on his turn he buffs up his exemplars there, moves up, pretty much just puts all my jacks on fire, and then otherwise his Vanquisher gets pretty good deviation for him, kills one of my Idrians, and then otherwise he's just kind of moving up. He has Lamentation up, he's giving out fire attacks with his book and all that. Sorry if I didn't mention before, he has a book there. And otherwise, yeah, so I think I'm in a really good spot here where I can go and kill a bunch of his stuff and lock him in place. And on this side, his stuff is moving up, but for me, the way that I see this whole flank is that my cutthroats are only here to slow him down. So I'll slowly sacrifice my guys, but really I got 7 points worth of stuff, and if that's going to be keeping back this one jack and this other solo, that'd be fantastic. I just would need to keep them away from my flag. My turn 2, and I had some real activation issues here, just because I really needed to get Magnus across to be as close to that flag as possible, and catch as many things in his feet as possible, but then that meant I had to move a bunch of stuff out of the way, and in the end it didn't go exactly the way I planned, but it still worked out fairly well. So the long gunners go up, they didn't really get to do anything this turn. The best thing that the long gunners did actually was have somebody run up to be charged by Magnus, because of course if I have a failed charge I can't pop my feet. And but before that I had the Idrians do assault and battery, and yeah, they killed a lot of the exemplars. I was really happy with how they did. I also did quite a bit of damage to the Incinerators on the left. Those Idrians, the small unit came up and shot one and did a bunch of damage. With the feet, he can't move towards my board edge or the left board edge. I actually think now that was maybe a mistake because I did that to stop the exemplars I didn't get to from being able to charge, but they can just shoot me anyway. And then my jacks go up there. They're really just there so that when he comes and kills my Idrians, I can counter and do a bunch more damage to him. And who knows? Maybe I can even have a assassination possible. And on this flank, I'm able to kill one choir, mess up trying to shoot the one paladin, and then I just have it so I'm in his way here. It's really nice that these guys have bushwhack so I could shoot and then do that stuff. But yeah, just gotta slowly feed him guys now. His turn 2, there wasn't too much he could do, and his real issue here was that all of his infantry really were stuck, but then again his jacks were fine, so he was able to kill off actually a lot of my Idrians, which was kind of what I kind of expected. Trading them for the exemplars and just with the control I had, I'm happy with that. But in the end, that's pretty much all he did. That one castigator is ready for me to destroy, and yeah, I'm really liking how it ended up here. My turn 3, I had to really decide which way I was going to go with this, because I really did see a fairly straightforward and simple assassination run. All I really had to do was destroy the one castigator there, then shoot the Vanquisher with my knockdown blast. That would knock down Kreoss, and then send in another Mangler, and then just go and kill him, right? Pretty easy stuff. But I screw up my assassinations all the time, so I decided to stay with the whole plan and just go for the scenario. So the big thing I needed to do was just make sure to still tie him up and kill off the incinerators, because especially one of them was contesting. So in comes the Mangler, he kills a few, the long gunners double fire to do a bunch of damage, and in the end I kill all but one, and he's pretty well trapped from getting to it. Magnus is at the flag, I've now dominated it, so I got 3 points of the 5 I need, and if he doesn't come and contest, I'm just going to win on his turn. Otherwise, you can see on the right, I'm just trying to tie him up, and man, that castigator just wouldn't go down. I did a bunch of damage to it, but in the end it had one box left and it's still there. And on this side over here, just still doing the dance and trying to just be annoying. Alright, so his turn 3, and up until this point I was feeling very comfortable with the way things were going, but then he kind of turned it around. He had one paladin that was able to run up to my Mangler, make it so that I don't think it was even a run, I'm not sure what it was, but I can't hurt him with anything except for magical attacks. So that's a real problem because only Magnus can do it, and he's not in a good spot to actually do anything. One thing I could do is cast mobility to get there, but he has his one book in the forest, which is saying that I can't cast any magic, which is causing me lots of issues. Otherwise, he's wailing on my jacks there on the right, but luckily he wasn't able to take them down. But the bad thing is, you see, his castigator now finally said, screw this, and after his one paladin with reach was able to kill the guy that I had in the way, he ran to the one flag, and he actually would have controlled it for 2 points, except that my one renegade was within 4 inches to contest it. So still 3-0, but it's looking a little bit scary here. And here's a little close-up of this paladin here, where man, if it wasn't just for this paladin, I would have won right here, but that's just the way it goes. And it's probably better that we have a more involving game anyway. So my turn 4, I try and think of a way to get eMagnus to kill that paladin, but really just where I wasn't possible, so I just moved him up so I can deal with him next time. The Mangler turning so I can try and counter things on the right. I was able to kill off the incinerator, so nothing there now. Really my long gunners are only going to be there to bog down that flag to make sure he doesn't score. And then on the right, man, I really thought I'd be able to destroy both of his jacks, but the problem was, even though my renegade was able to finish off his, his one castigator, well, the problem was that when I started swinging against the Vanquisher, I had some misses and all this stuff, and in the end, just really wasn't able to get enough done. So there you go, that's just the way it is. And yeah, at least I have him bogged down, so he really has to put under pressure now to make sure I don't score on my next turn. So in his turn 4, he really tries to make it so he can clear out my long gunners, but unfortunately wasn't able to do enough. The one thing that wasn't good for me, though, is that he was able to destroy both my jacks over there, both the Mangler and the Renegade. So, I mean, as far as the right flank goes, I am being overrun, and I really don't have a lot of models left. At this point, my larger unit of Idrians are completely gone. You know, 2 of my jacks are gone. All my remaining infantry are really diminished, but the good thing is that I'm sitting in a fairly good spot for the scenario. So then on this turn, all I needed to do was I had to destroy the Book and the Paladin, which were contesting my flag. So the long gunners aim did 2 damage to it. Luckily before this, the Idrians had also sliced off 3 damage, so that was enough to destroy the Book. Magnus goes, destroys the Paladin, and I score another 2 points for the win after the Mangler gets in base to base. So victory to Epic Magnus, and I think the big thing that led to the victory here is, again, he's just really good at controlling things like flags. You can get in there and get those points. I think it really helped that my opponent, he kind of did the same thing where he was shooting for objective, and then he just wasn't really aggressive enough for it. I mean, by the time he kind of got there, it was kind of too late, and as well, I mean, he just doesn't really have the real control. And there's 2 different turns there where I thought, hey, maybe I could go for caster kill, and I just said, screw it, you know, I just gotta stick to the plan. And kind of looking overall for the whole epic tale of Epic Magnus, I ended it with 7 wins and 3 losses, and man, I just love this guy. I mean, some people think that he's just all about the feet and all that, but just the fact that his force is so different, right? I got mercenaries, I got Menoth, I got Signar, it's all here together, right? You never see anyone else using Idrians, and, you know, his other spells are situational. To be fair, during this entire 10-game streak, I only ever cast Mobility. I mean, he does have Calamity, he does have Obliteration that will be coming in now and then, but for the most part, you know, he always can do his own thing too, right? The whole thing with his armor-pierced sword is just, you know, it's a great thing for him to be able to take on a heavy on his own. So, really loving Epic Magnus, and to the point that in April here I'm going to be going to a hardcore event and trying to see if he can win it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.